I've been reading Attack on Titan for 5 years now, and I don't think I've ever been this disappointed. The chapter is shitting on its own legacy, breaking characters and their purpose in the story. Before I start to actually go into my points, I just want to say this line. I think Attack on Titan is about people making sacrifices to win something in exchange. No one can gain anything without sacrificing something precious to them. Since majority of the video is going to be about plot points which I heavily dislike, I think for now I should only talk about stuff that I did enjoy in this chapter. And I did like Zeke's Doomer moment and him explaining that life is meaningless, and well, that's it. Even if at the moment I don't like how Zeke has changed from chapter 114 too much, it's not even the same character anymore. More on that later. The very first thing we see on this chapter is a creature called Hallucigenia. The purpose seems to be to showcase how life came to exist. The issue here is that Hallucigenia will be downgrading Eren's character. It will literally make people to fight Titan's nature, which is fucking Parasite. That's right, the final villain isn't even Eren himself anymore, it's just fucking walking worm. So I guess from now on, Eldians shouldn't be called Eldians but Hallucigenians. One of the biggest problems I have with this chapter is how Ymir revealed to the audience. Turns out that Ymir simply wanted friends, so she had no desire for freedom. It was just relationships that she desired, to have connections with people. The same girl who has been abused in such terrible ways I don't want to even dare to describe here in YouTube. The same girl who kept sacrificing her freedom in the name of other people's happiness. All this time, she just wanted to have connections. Basically, it makes no sense why she follows Eren anymore. At first, the general assumption was that Eren recognized her as a normal person, not an object or god, and that moved her. For the first time in her life, she's been seen as equal, but it doesn't matter because she wants to love people and make connections. That's why she helps Armin and Zeke, right? Because she can sympathize with their memories, which she so desperately wants to have. She helps them out because she can relate to them, but then you may ask, why? Why does she side with Eren? The same guy who will end all of the connections Ymir may possibly have. If she still wants to hold a connection in the world that she was born in, why does she listen to what Eren says without a question or doubt in her mind? Like, you cannot make this shit up. Paths are essentially useless in this story because for Ymir, it represents her desire to escape the world, which she also wants to be part of. That's right. The story for Ymir is to give her isekai bros so she can embody the theme of escapism from reality. Good job, Isama. The true way to treat victim of many things is making her to escape through isekai world and let her continuously make people suffer because of it. Great message. Armin's and Zeke's conversation aren't so bad thematically, the issue is fucking execution and forgetting what each character stood for. Armin did nothing there, all he did was talk about every single simple moment in life, and apparently that makes worth living it, while Zeke was thinking that it's okay for people to die if there's no point to live anymore. There's an issue here already. If Zeke embraces death, you saw that in chapter 114, the guy is not afraid to kill himself if it means to complete his mission. It's just strange that the guy who has so much knowledge, and he definitely knows that he is the key to stop the rumbling, so why he didn't even attempt to kill himself? Did we really need to wait for Armin to appear and state the obvious to Zeke? All of this is just pointless Armin bank. Just appreciate the little things in the life, bro, and believe in the friendship you build on, says Armin Arlert, the Naruto Uzumaki of the story. There's no nuance, there's no complexity, it's just stupid. This whole conversation is pointless, and it's also strange how Zeke all this time had the opportunity to kill himself. Unless Ymir was limiting him to do it, it just simply makes no sense. And it destroys Zeke's character. Remember when in chapter 114, his whole motivation to kill himself was because of his memories? I guess that doesn't matter anymore. Somehow he just forgot about this, or even worse. If you remember chapter 122, Grisha told him to stop Eren. That also doesn't matter anymore. Armin is the one who had to hold such a big role and be Naruto Uzumaki in the story just to tell the Zeke that he indeed has the ability and potential to just kill himself. This is a shit writing that downgrades Zeke's intelligence and his credibility to make cautious decisions. The whole revival nonsense is just an asshole. Yes, it's not impossible to make this believable, but the way the dead people were summoned was done in the most cheesiest ass Sunday morning cartoon way possible. Basically, Zeke is stating that while he thinks he wasn't wrong, he would enjoy having those connections, which means Ymir did relate to that and she helped him out to summon dead people and fight against Eren. Why on earth did this happen? All Zeke needed to do was try and make friends with Ymir, but he didn't try to do it? Because why he should be trying so? No. Instead, he should be having an existential crisis in paths and wait for Godwin to arrive and show him his Nakama way of living. But wait, it gets worse. The action on this chapter was just Marvel Bang. It's up to you if you liked it or not, but the most insulting thing to me was when everyone is about to die and you just suddenly see the dead people are coming to save everyone at the very last second. This is a Marvel story. I feel betrayed by Asama. It's like watching Avengers the End movie when everyone is brought back to defeat the greater evil, and one of the worst things about this is Xavier holding Armin as the angel of Jesus-kun. The guy who wanted to be dead holds Armin, the polar opposite of him and his ideals. For what purpose again? Is it because Armin has big beautiful blue eyes? This is something I cannot swallow and accept as Attack on Titan. I think it's time to talk about comedy and foreshadowing in this chapter. The issue here is Zeke is literally being just shown himself to Levi by waving his hands. Like, come on man. It felt as this was like taken not seriously, just like another haha funny joke. I do like when Isama uses jokes in his series, especially in Uprising arc, but this was just simply almost insulting as to how Zeke died. Levi had no dialogue before, he was barely even a character. After that explosion, he's only left alive just to kill off Zeke, and what that achieved for the narrative? Nothing much. He's dead and no one cares. Goodbye Zeke Yeager, one of the most beloved characters in the manga. You died once we got to see your POV. I can't even imagine how Zeke fans feel at this point when his character has been ruined right in front of their eyes, just for shit and giggles and Nakama storytelling. Another thing I don't really like comes from the first point about hallucigenia I made before. We have Reiner Hilo's moment, but instead of it being Eren, it's fucking Worm that he tries to stop. In all honesty, it's not big of an issue here, but it's just a cheap way to showcase that the obvious hint that Reiner will become Hilos. I don't know how anyone can put up a straight face and think this is a good chapter. I really don't. I think this fandom has many issues, and one of the examples is the whole Twitter thing about #thankyou. I think it's wrong to harass anyone and threaten people to kill them, or say you will take a shit into their sauna. It's just pathetic, really. But you don't need to say thank you for mediocre chapters at best. I didn't see anyone sending thank you to Isama or his editors when he made chapters like 100 or chapter 131, or the ones that are universally loved in this fandom. I do not like this fandom for things like this. Basically what I'm trying to say is that don't be an asshole to anyone who works in this story, and you don't need to kiss anyone's ass if someone is being fucking mean on internet. Another thing is that you may think I'm simply biased towards one ending, and if that doesn't happen then I'm just complaining just for the sake of doing it. And that's the mindset I do not like from this fandom, because they don't understand a simple thing. Why does everything have to be either full rumbling ending or full happy peace ending? I don't give a single fuck. I don't think anyone else gives a fuck how the story will end. It's not about that. It's never been about the fucking ending. It's about the execution and writing, not what we wish for. If the story would go out of its way to please me as the reader, just for the sake of fan service, I would fucking drop the series right on the spot, because I want to see the story that Isama wants to tell me as the reader. And if I don't like it, it means maybe it's not for me, or Isama did an oopsie doopsie. I think that's the common sense people should have nowadays. I wish people would be far more open about criticism and issues that they're bringing up, instead of calling everyone hater because they don't like this chapter. And that's the thing. This chapter has been dick sucked by this fucking Twitter community. It's fucking shit chapter. You don't need to thank Isama for shit chapters. Just thank him for the good stuff he has done. You don't need to thank him for shit chapters like this one and pretend like this chapter is good, because it's not. Don't lie to yourself. As I said before in the beginning, I interpretate the story as people making difficult choices or sacrifices to what they desire, and quite honestly, this has been lost, and I think many readers, including myself, have been betrayed one way or another. And now, after following the story for more than 5 years, I have a question. Since when do we get fights that have no stakes or just bland and fake? Since when do we need to read a story and think to ourselves, wow, what a letdown? Why do we lose something that made this manga so special for the readers? Why do you lose Marley arc's fucking charm in this later arcs and nothing carries on? Why do we no longer get moments like Erwin's charge or Armin's sacrifice? And you may say, but Velocious, what about Hanji's death? Well, excuse me, but that was bland death, and her death is pointless because the next chapter we have Flying Miracle that basically says Hanji died for nothing, which makes it pointless to begin with. And why do we see nonsense like Ymir absorbing Armin just to get him out? There's no logic behind it, there's no emotions, every character feels bland. No one makes any choices or sacrifices like before they used to, because the story is being rushed, it's being appealed to like mainstream media. And that's what it is. You're consuming average product and make it to be like a masterpiece. Throughout this video, I have been very harsh to this chapter, and you may think that I'm just another triggered Jaegerist on the internet, but unfortunately the reality is far different from what would you expect of me. To be 100% honest, I love this story, and if I didn't love this story, I wouldn't make this video in the first place. The truth is, I don't see this story the same way I used to see it before. The things I mentioned here should be obvious why I don't like this story as much as I used to, and particularly this chapter. I think this chapter has been the worst chapter in the history of Attack on Titan. And I wish I wouldn't need to make this video, but I'm making this because this series has been special to me. I'm not here just to sit and brag here, but to show that there's clear issues with this story and we shouldn't just blindly ignore it. Everyone makes mistakes, I make mistakes, even Isama himself makes mistakes. So if you're still watching this, I hope you understand that you need to be more open-minded about stories like Attack on Titan. So, in the end, I just hope that you had a great time watching this, and thanks for watching.